After using the Pixel Fold for a few days now, this phone has completely went above and beyond my expectations, and this will be my permanent Android phone that I use alongside my iPhone. If you guys have been watching my channel, you know that I always switch between the Xiaomi 13 and the S23 Ultra when it comes to choosing my Android phones that I use for the week or for the month. Well, like I said, I'm so gonna be keeping this, and of course I'm gonna be telling you guys why. Before the Pixel Fold came out, I always wanted to use a folding phone because it just makes sense. You have a phone, you open it up, you have a tablet. What's there not to like? But the only real choice that we had here in the US was the Galaxy Fold. And as much as fun as that phone is, like that cover display, that narrow and tall cover display, it just didn't really sit right with me. It was fun for a little bit, but then when you're texting, when you're typing, when you're looking at Instagram, sometimes if you're watching Instagram stories or TikTok, if there's text on the screen, it gets cut off because of that weird aspect ratio of the cover display. So it always felt like a compromise rather than something that you could use on a day-to-day basis and not really get sick and tired of it. But the Pixel Fold absolutely changes that. It completely makes me fall in love with folding phones again because there's no compromise. Whenever you're looking at TikTok, I'll open up TikTok right now. I'll show you guys. I'm not gonna lie, right? Whenever you're watching TikTok videos, you're getting see right there, see the text? That's the perfect example. I didn't even plan on this, okay? That's a perfect example. The text is not cut off from the display. So what I'm trying to say is, let me open up Instagram. You're getting the full app experience regardless of TikTok, Instagram, or any other app. You're getting the full experience from that app. There's no compromise, and I absolutely love that. Typing on the cover display is also fantastic because, again, you're getting that full keyboard experience, and comparing the keyboard from other phones, you can clearly see that it is just as big, if not bigger than other phones that don't fold. So you're getting basically a bigger keyboard on a folding phone than a phone that doesn't fold. That's insane. That is perfect. The multitasking experience is also amazing because the two halves of the inside display are basically the same size as the cover display. So when you have two apps open side by side, you continue to get the full app experience. You're not missing out on anything. There's nothing cut off. There's nothing different. It's the full app experience. Again, I keep repeating that because it's so good. Because I'm used to the Galaxy Fold, okay? I'm used to, if you open it up, you're getting weird aspect ratios. If you close it, you get even a weirder aspect ratio, and you're never really like satisfied, you know? This phone is like the definition of satisfaction when it comes to a folding phone. Whenever you close it, it's so comfortable. If you guys haven't touched this yet, go to your local electronics store, try to find this phone, close it, open it up, play around with it, do whatever you want. It's just so good. It fits in your hand perfect. There's never been a moment where I was like, it's gonna fall out of my hands. It's not top heavy because it's shorter than the Galaxy Fold. Man, I'm hyping this phone up too much. I'm sorry, I'm excited. Another thing I love is how bright the outer display is. It goes up to 1,550 nits of brightness. Now, for the average person, that number means absolutely nothing. But the only thing you need to know is that if you're outside in very bright sunlight, you will be able to see the screen with no issues. Now, the inside display goes up to 1,450 nits, so just 100 nits shy of the cover display. But because of that plastic layer, you get a ton of reflections. Like, I mean, you guys can see that. Like, I mean, that's pretty bad. You get a ton of reflections. Now, it does get bright, so that kind of helps, but you can't really fool plastic. Plastic is not going to be as anti-reflective as glass, or you're not going to get the same quality, I should say, as a glass panel. So I recommend if you're outside, just use the cover display because, well, not only is it actually usable this time, thanks Google, bad Samsung, but it's actually bright too, so you get the best of both worlds. Now, after using the phone for a couple days, I did notice some unfortunate downsides, one of which is something that we've all seen coming: battery life. The battery life on this phone is quite bad. You're lucky to get maybe 4 hours of screen on time, but that's because of the Google Tensor Generation 2 chip. That is just not a good chip. Google, you kind of shot yourselves in the foot by not choosing the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Every Android phone with that chip is like king when it comes to battery life, okay? I know Google, you're trying to do your own thing. I respect that, but sometimes you shouldn't do your own thing, okay? Like a lot of the times, you shouldn't. Just stick with what everyone is doing because it works. But not only that, if the battery life was bad, but charging was fast, I would be okay with it. I'll be like, okay, just, no problem. Plug it in, wait about 20 minutes, good to go. Not the case with this phone. You plug it in, you wait 20 minutes, it went up by like 5%. Charging on this phone is so slow. It is actually remarkable how slow it was. It is, is. It feels like Google is trying to make a race to see who can charge slowest. That's basically what Google is doing with this phone. It is so slow, I almost thought I didn't plug it in. No joke. It is that slow. So not only does it last not long, but it also takes a long time to charge. So that's a big downside for me because I like to use my phones a lot. Of course, this is $1,800. You're out of your mind if you think I'm paying $1,800 and not using the phone a lot, right? Of course, I'm gonna use it a lot, but that means I find myself plugging it in like a lot of the times throughout the day just to top it off a little bit to help me last throughout the day. Those two downsides might make it or break it for a lot of you out there, so I thought I would just mention that. Now look, I'm usually the type of guy that if a phone does not have good battery, I'm selling it, because like I said, I like to use what I paid for. If I paid for something, I want to use it and not have to worry about it, okay? But there's just something about this phone that makes me gravitate towards it rather than the other 6 phones that I own, okay, including the iPhone. There's just something about this phone that makes me want to use it. The Google features, the texting, the voice to text, you're getting all of that with this phone. Of course, it is the flagship, the new flagship phone from Google. You're getting all the Google features in the best form factor for a folding phone. It's a win-win. Except Google, work on your battery life. Now, of course, there will be a video covering all the cameras on the phone. I think that deserves a video by itself because there's a lot to talk about on that side. And of course, I will be doing a full review of this phone in the coming weeks. So if you guys want to stay tuned and wait for that, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you enjoyed today's video, you found it informative, entertaining, whatever you found it as, leave a like. It's completely free to you, but it helps me and the channel out a lot, and I always truly appreciate it. This was Mark from MarkStack. Adios.